All right. So, Wiji, thanks so much for joining us on this episode. So, how's life been lately for you?
Whew.
Okay, that says a lot.
Since March, you mean? No, but it's been getting a little bit better than the past few months.
Okay,
I hope.
for sure. But how so though? You're a creative, you're an artist, you're a tattoo artist, and you create art. So but how has that affected you? I guess in these last couple of months.
Well, I had to stop tattooing since March. So that was like my main thing that kept me busy on a daily basis. Um, so that's why the first few months, the shock of everything happening too was, getting to me, but also not being able to do one of my passions. Well, which is why I'm thankful that I have other passions I could lean into. And so now I say that I'm feeling a little bit better is because I feel like I'm getting back into a flow, which is a little bit more different from my regular flow.
Interesting. And I guess maybe we can backtrack a bit. How did you get into the arts and especially tattooing? What's the story behind that?
Well, in the arts, one of my first memories, maybe since I was three or something, I was always drawing. It was always the thing I did. In fact, if you met all my friends from grade school to high school to college, because my path to the arts was a long and winding one. It wasn't just direct.
Okay.
I went through different phases. But tattooing, I met. I met tattooing. It was my friends. I went through a really weird a decade of weird jobs. But one day it was my friend's birthday, and he invited me and his other friends, of course, to our friend's tattoo shop. And so I went there thinking I was just going to be drunk, whatever.
Yeah.
But when I went there, I saw him lying down on the tattoo bed, and he wanted all of us to tattoo him.
Oh wow.
This is I know this guy's the ugliest tattoos. But I thank him. I'm grateful for him forever because that night, when it's that's what it means pala when you find your calling. When I finally held the tattoo machine, I did one line on him and I was like, oh my God, I now know why it never worked out with any other profession with me. It's like surfing for the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like, oh, meeting the one.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah, I refer to tattooing as I met tattooing that night.
Oh wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
What year was it?
This was 2009.
Oh, wow. It's been quite some time. Galing.
I know. Yeah, and the guy who was helping us not accidentally stab our friend too much is a guy named June Pasuto, who became my mentor eventually. The morning after that party, I woke up usually when I drink, I fall asleep right away. But when I went home, I was up. I was just trying to recall in slow motion the whole process of tattooing, and I couldn't get to sleep. But when I finally fell asleep, I woke up really early the following day. It was the first thing on my mind, tattooing. I have to do it. And so I texted June, the guy who was there, if he would take me in as his apprentice. But he never replied that week. I was like, oh, jahe, because we weren't close then. And so I tried to text him a week after. I was like, June, I don't know if you got my text, but would you take me in as your apprentice? And he finally replied. He was like, you passed the first test.
Oh wow.
He was testing me.
So the 1 week was a test if you're gonna last or not, if you're gonna keep pursuing it.
Yeah, if I was really serious.
That's super cool. So is it you mentioned surfing. So the high that you got when you first tattooed your friend, was it like a stoke?
Definitely.
Like a high?
Surfing is surfing is the closest thing I can compare it to. It's just the first time you surf and get a nice wave or a nice ride, you just sit down and daydream about
totally
it.
stoked.
Yeah.
Totally stoked.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
Maybe I should tattoo Snap and get a.
You should. It's a good test of friendship.
It's funny though, because me, Snap, and I actually have. It sounds kind of whatever, but like we have matching tattoos. Like
Are you serious?
our first tattoos, we got them when you were back in college, like second year college. You're like super young, pa, and we both weren't allowed to get tattoos, because our parents are both conservative. So they were like, yeah. So they were saying, if you get a tattoo, we're gonna kick you out of the house. So we're like, well, where can we get a tattoo? Well, I won't say where, but we got a tattoo where they couldn't see it.
Okay, but may I know what the tattoo is? It sounds like a Tweety bird.
No, no, man. But
Each other's names.
no.
No.
No, it's
Like a modern crescent moon. Or like
yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'd say kind of like if a crescent moon had been a Dyson sphere where half is like a living environment, so it's more rigid. So it's like a small part of the moon, but
Yeah.
very angular, but still with the curvature on the side to make it look like a crescent.
Interesting.
I mean, there's no profound reason behind it. Which I
Friendship.
basically friendship, but I picked the smallest possible design. So like, but yeah, that was her
your first
introduction to it.
tattoo?
It was her first tattoo. Exactly.
Did you both study in the same I'm assuming this is college, not
Yeah, this is
But
college.
right?
I wasn't in the same school anymore
Yeah.
at that point.
Oh, so
I
that's
straight
why
up
you
took-
needed to have matching tattoos.
Yeah, we're three actually. Three of us.
Oh,
Three of us have the same tattoos.
that's sweet.
But at least now we have more naman. I mean, I don't know, but like, but you naman, you have a lot of tattoos too. Did you get
Yeah.
into that after you got hooked or before that?
Before I got my first tattoo, I think I was 19, and I've been collecting ever since. That's why and then I always was drawing, which is funny when I think about it now. Like, why did I never connect it earlier that I could probably tattoo? Because
Yeah.
I mean, I was always drawing and I was always getting a tattoo done on me. Yeah.
Oh, that's super
So
interesting.
you can definitely, I feel like you can tattoo Snap.
Really?
I can guide you.
Oh, there. She'll guide me. You can tattoo me. Yeah.
You paint, right?
I paint, yeah. But
Yeah.
but I paint what I feel though. I don't paint what I can't copy stuff. So I'm gonna need to tattoo what I feel.
And that way he will have a very unique tattoo. on
See.
him, right? No one will be able to copy it.
It'll have to be on my butt cheek so that no one can see it. Dude.
Oh, are you ready
Yeah,
for
actually,
that?
that's safe. I'd do it in my butt too, I guess. So it isn't super like, if it gets fucked up, then it's fine. And I don't see it. but Wiji, like, I guess, since we are a podcast about spirituality and, like alternative living, like I feel like, the things that we do, like, snaps and, like a renewable energy. I'm in the yoga and meditation. You're in tattooing and the arts. These are, I guess, how do you say this? Like outlier professions.
Yeah.
And compared to people who, have normal jobs or like work in an office. I mean, like, but I guess how do you integrate that into like with the discipline? I mean, you explained the stoke and the high, but of course, when you see clients or you do commissions, like regularly, it becomes a job, right? But like,
Yeah.
what are your hacks when it comes to stuff like that? In terms of like your, I guess the way you work, the way you create like a sense of ritual or to be productive, to be efficient. I mean, how do you see that?
I have to segregate my mindsets because I mean painting is so different from tattooing. In tattooing, I was definitely trained. There's a discipline to it, and I was an apprentice for a year or more, I think, and so I had to. It's a very technical process. You can't just be
Whatever, wing it. Like,
yeah, whatever. Like when I'm in the mood, you always have to be in the mood for a client. And
yeah,
actually, amongst the other things I do, tattooing causes me more anxiety than the others, just because there's so much pressure, there's so much stress put on me, and I value that so much, and so I if there's one place where I'm most disciplined in my life, if there's one faction of my life, it's in tattooing. Like, I had to lessen my coffee intake just so my hands wouldn't be as shaky, and a sense of professionalism with the client. It's something I had to learn instinctively, because my other jobs, quote unquote, don't necessarily need me to be in constant contact with other people.
Yeah.
And that's also how I got into Reiki, because a couple of years into tattooing, I felt that my energy was depleting, because I'm constantly in close contact with someone, and more often than not, when someone gets tattoos, they're either celebrating something in their life or trying to break free from something that was holding them back. Something it's some sort of healing for them.
For sure.
And so more often than not, I'd absorb their energies. Not that they wanted to give me bad vibes, but that's just how it is. So, I studied Reiki, and whenever I do tattoos, I do Reiki on the tattoos too. And,
Have you been working again?
No, I haven't since the pandemic, because I tattoo in my home studio, and I have a 5-year-old boy, and so it's just I'm extra paranoid.
For sure.
I get that.
If I probably worked in a studio outside my home, I'd probably be more open to it. But I can wait. I'm good. I'm waiting for the right time.
You have a general style that you do, or like anything a client sends you?
I mostly do watercolor and illustration style tattoos. Yeah, I don't really do portraits and stuff like that. That's a different genre.
So it's like that parang lighter shade, no?
Yeah, or tattoos that look like they're painted on, I suppose, or drawn on, as opposed to like very precise lines. And
I get you.
I heard from a friend of mine. I don't remember who, but when I was looking to get a tattoo, she was like, "You got to see Wiji. Her hands are so gentle, like they don't hurt." Because I feel like it matters, diba? I mean, for me, it matters.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I tried to study that. My mentor, June, has the lightest. I mean, prior to him, I went to a couple of tattoo artists, and it really makes a difference when there's a lighter touch, of course. I mean, it'll still hurt, but you can last longer if your threshold isn't pushed constantly.
So have you explored the different styles of tattooing, like the Japanese? But they use the that metal. I don't know what you call it, and then the bamboo ren in Thailand, and then up north there's they use the I don't know what they use, but like
the thorns.
Yeah.
Thorns of it. Yeah, I haven't actually. I've been wanting to get those traditional Japanese style tattoos, because I really like colorful tattoos. But I don't even know how to get one. I don't think it's just presented to any tourist who goes there. I'm not so sure.
That's true. Now, I've been reading a lot about tattoos in the Philippines. Actually, like one of my friends gave me a book about the tribes in the north, and like grab the stories, how they create the natural dye, and like how it represents certain, like if you're a warrior or if you're a shaman, like it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool talaga.
Yeah, and they're feminists up there.
They're feminists.
I love it because you are like suddenly a lot more beautiful the more tattoos you have. You're like supermodel level.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, we need more of that.
We need more of that talaga.
Yeah.
But how do you explain the high of getting a tattoo to the high of putting a tattoo on somebody? Is it different? I'm curious.
Aside from being less painful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's when you get a tattoo kasi, 'di ba? I'm hopefully it means something a lot to you, and you'll keep it forever. But when you're able to do it on someone and you see the smile on their face, or sometimes they cry because it means a lot to them, it really warms my heart. I also cry with a lot of my clients. In fact, I feel like I'm a shrink or a bartender most of the time, and and I try to really establish a good relationship, a good authentic relationship with my clients that oftentimes transmutes into friendships. So knowing that I put something beautiful, I hope, and that means so much to them, it's just wow. Yeah, it's different.
That's the best. That's the best.
Yeah, it is.
I guess like what do you call this? It's very similar to teaching, and
Yeah,
like
I guess.
I never really, because I used to do client work before, with production shoots, video production. So that was
Yeah.
that felt very for me. I mean, in my experience, it felt very like more often than not transactional. Like you're just kind of like a tool. But like when I teach, it really you really want to feel a connection. You get bothered when you know that there's something bothering your student, diba? Like you be sensitive to that. And I think that's the beauty of our, I guess, these kinds of crafts, diba? It's an energetic thing, and connecting it to
Exactly.
the renewable energy, that's totally energetic, diba? Like it's
Yeah. It's all connected, right? Like
Oh, everything is. Yeah.
yeah, the like if you walk around certain areas of Metro Manila and you see how messy the electric lines are. So
Yes.
like if you really take a look at it, the higher the lines are, the more organized they are. So like I was telling a friend a few days ago that it really has a parallelism to like Philippine society.
oh yeah.
It's
Wow.
organized a little bit on top, and as it gets lower, it gets more complicated and it gets messier. But
Oo nga,
the
no?
main takeaway is not highlighting those differences, but rather seeing how no matter what, no matter how messy or how fixed, we're all connected. And relating it back to what you were both saying, I mean, the reason why that type of work that you're doing that feels more fulfilling feels that way is because of genuine interaction,
Yeah.
real connection.
Yes.
Exactly. Exactly.
It sets you on fire. It's what keeps you going. It's what
Exactly.
makes you want to
And
do it again. Yeah.
yeah, and you know what? Since doing tattoos, I really genuinely feel like I'm a better person now because all these stories, these interactions, I now see that there's no one perspective. I mean, it's simple, but we forget that that's the case. And I've become less judgmental. I've become more open to
Yeah.
different sides of stories. And isn't it amazing that we somehow got into these jobs, that help us survive and make us better people. Galing, thank you, universe.
It really is talaga.
Yeah.
I'd like to think, I'd like to believe that every person in the world can do that rin. It's
Yeah,
just
for
that
sure.
they just have to be open to it. That possibility is there. Once you're open to it, then it's gonna happen, diba?
Exactly. I totally
Depends on
believe
the
that.
level of indoctrination of the area where
That's
the
true. That's true.
as well. So like the externalities, you cannot just push it aside. If you're in like Africa, for example, like the lesser developed parts of Africa, for example,
Yeah,
how you have the luxury in at least in that part of the world to be able to.
exactly. I agree.
And I think the indoctrination, Ren, what you mentioned, Snap, like with, we all went to, like, a lot of us went to Catholic
And forward race,
schools,
ready
exactly.
on.
Very military style, diba? And
Were you both like from high school, grade school to
grade
Grade school.
college? Like,
Ateneo,
oh,
Said
unfortunately.
it
Just
again.
kidding, just kidding. Sorry.
you were just hate mail.
I know. No, Ateneo's great. LaSalle's great too. Cut that out,
I'm
cut
from
that out.
LaSalle. I'm from LaSalle.
Okay, cut that out. Oh, what's the name of your cat? What's the name of your cat?
This is Bowie.
Bowie.
Bowie. Oh, wait. She's removing. Okay.
I guess you were taught to like follow orders and then like like be part of the machine. That's not life. That's not.
Yeah.
We're not built
That's
that
what
way.
I noticed. Yeah, that's what I noticed with because I was brought up strictly Catholic too. I was a choir girl. Would you believe? When I was in grade school. Um, pero I mean, a lot of these people I see who were brought up like very rigidly. But we also, I think, that's why I think and believe differently from those beliefs right now is because there was a time I really accepted it and I really thought I believed it, but I had to process it in my mind and like, wait, is it really making sense in my life? Or I don't know if it really touches me the way my spiritual beliefs now do.
I get that.
Yeah. Because
Totally
we were,
get that.
diba, we were so immersed in it. I'm like, okay, I'm immersed in it. I look around, nga, does it really make sense to me?
Yeah.
It probably does to other people.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Made a compromise in my head so that when I'm in mass, I don't feel forced to be there. I was telling Nikki about this. I just use the collective prayer as a form of channeling intentions.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be super ignorant to pretend if you that you did not pray for yourself, right? So obviously, we all still pray for our well-being.
Yes.
But using that collective, I think the manifestation of intention can get amplified or be stronger because you're
Yes.
sending out intentions together with a community.
100%. Yeah. It's all about your intention. Yeah. That's the main point of it naman. If it was explained that way, I think.
Yeah.
Then, it didn't need to be too rigid.
No, I totally agree. And the irony of it actually, because my family is Opus Dei, so they're very.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
They're intense. So, but I only started actually recognizing that I guess the benefits of their beliefs. Like because they're so prayerful. They pray the rosary. They go to mass every day if they can. And I realized that it's the same thing as what I do with like my yoga and my meditation. It's a spiritual practice, and they're tapping into the same thing I'm tapping in. Like
true.
that's the thing. Like I mean, it's funny. Like we both went to Ateneo, so like a couple of years ago I watched like this movie on Saint Ignatius. Like you see that snap? Like, but that I thought was honestly before that I was like my mom dragged me to it. I was like, man, this is gonna be so lame. I know the story so well, but I
Oh,
cried.
really? You study a lot about
Yeah, I
Saint
cried
Ignatius?
because Saint Ignatius because is the patron saint of Ateneo. He was the one who founded.
Okay. I didn't know. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So it was really like I was like, man, that this story has struck a chord. And right now I'm reading a book on Jesuit spirituality and I'm appreciating it like it's like I'm
Spiritual
reading
action.
about like I'm reading about it again and it's like wow, this is pretty amazing. Like it's not indoctrination anymore. Like I see it differently because I've changed, diba? It's no longer being forced upon. It's just freedom. Like I have the freedom to study and to learn, and these resonate with me as
Use this
well.
tool.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he was all about like just meditation, understanding the self to try to, I guess, understand the subconscious as well, which is the
I mean,
actual.
exactly. Like Saint
Finding
Ignatius
yourself.
basically did like what yogis did. He stayed in a cave for years
Silent retreat.
and totally
okay.
yeah. So he was a mystic. He's known as a mystic actually. So it's super interesting.
They had some scenes where it was like he was hallucinating, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he was. He was.
Ooh.
We don't know if he was on something, but like
So, what kind of painkillers?
Go Saint Ignatius.
yeah,
So from grade school.
yeah,
in
grade school,
Katipunan.
yeah, to
Oh.
college. It was really deep
Interesting.
indoctrination.
Wow.
But we weren't we weren't the best students. That's the truth. We didn't really. We totally contradicted the system.
Totally stop. Just now that we have a better understanding.
Yeah,
Where did you go to school pala for like high school? You said Catholic also, right? Or was that home? At home.
I actually grew up in La Union. I'm from
Really?
San Fernando. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a small town then, San Fernando, La Union. So when I was in grade school, I went to St. Jude. The parish priest was my uncle. The principal was my lola, you know.
Oh wow.
So she's like, everyone was looking at me, you know, expecting me to be this good girl. You know, I was in the choir, and you know, in high school I went to a science high school, and then college in La Salle.
Wow. So what was it like living in La Union? I mean, it must have been great.
I loved my childhood, but it felt like forever though, because I mean, this was, I don't know how old you guys are, but this was 90s, early 90s. There was no internet, you know. I think cable came around pretty late now in my life. And so I really had a lot of time to contemplate on life. Yeah, but it was interesting. I was really close to my lolo, who was, what do you call those men who give the the body of Christ? Lay minister. Oh, there you go. Yeah, like when he was retired now, and he's one of my favorite people in the world. Not only because of that, not only because he's my lolo, but he was the first person to tell me that what matters the most, very simply, is that you're a good person. And it was a revelation for me. I think I was 5 or whatever that age, coming from a Catholic background. Like, oh, I don't need to be just Catholic and go to heaven. I can be just, you know, a good person. That's all that matters, really. And he's like, yeah. So yeah, but I loved my childhood.
That's amazing.
Sounds fun. I mean, growing up in Manila.
Yeah, but people always assume I'm a good surfer when I tell them that. I'm like, no, there wasn't any surfing growing up. Like we had no idea that you can ride waves. It was only when I moved to Manila, biglang people were going back to my province and surfing. I was like, what? You could do that this whole time? I was so bored in high school.
That's crazy. Yeah. But like, what's it like? I guess to like sort of wrap things up. You know, you mentioned you're a mom, and like, what's it like? You know, like raising a 5-year-old, and you know, like Snap has my Snap's daughter is my godchild. So like, you know, that's the closest thing to parenthood for me because I don't have kids yet. But like, what's it like? What's it like? I'm curious.
It's like being, you know, I try my best. It's because I read this article when I was pregnant and it stuck with me ever since. And that's what I try to do. I'm crossing my fingers. Being a parent is like being a spiritual advisor for this new person in this world. Like, you don't own them, but you can try to guide them the best way you can, but also accepting your faults. But also, I'm seeing this newer version of me, a more fearless version of me, because I feel like if you've given birth, you can do anything.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. You try it, Nick.
Yeah, I mean...
You try to give birth.
Like, I can't even... I'll probably die. But women are the stronger sex naman talaga.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you for saying
100%. 100%.
Like organization skills much higher.
Way higher.
Yeah, it just really changes you.
Yeah. Yeah, like I guess like I mean, you know, I see it with Snap. I see it, you know, of course with my mom. My mom has like 9 kids, you know, so like yeah, and I'm the eldest. So like
seriously? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it's really I know, and she always tells me you'll only understand what it means to be a parent when you become a parent, diba?
Because there are a whole new set of worries like that you never knew you'd worry about.
Yeah.
And you have to find another version of Zen for it.
Oh. Yeah. I think I got to meditate a bit more to get into that.
That's why I need your meditations. I go to your classes every morning.
Yeah.
You have 1 kid, Snap?
Yeah, I do. She's 6. I'm picking her up on Wednesday. I'm separated. So.
Okay. Oh, so she's in school now, right?
Yeah, buti na lang it's homeschool.
Yeah, oh my gosh. I'm homeschooling. It's driving me crazy.
Yeah, tough.
Yeah, my kid's 5.
Yeah, kami grade 1, just moved up. So it's
gosh.
May Filipino class now, which is quite a challenge. I mean,
where is she studying?
It's a school in Dipolog in Mindanao.
Okay, cool.
Wiji, thanks so much for
Thanks for having me.
conversation. It was so much fun. We can't wait to get tattoos from you.
I will be. You have to film it. I know. I'll film it because you're tattooing Snap.
Oh
No,
yeah,
no, no.
yeah,
The Nick
Snap.
can,
I
can
will
watch
teach you to Snap. I will teach you. You can tattoo Nick.
one line each. One line each. Somewhere.
I'll take a line.
We
I'll take a line. I'll take a line.
can't-
Yeah. In your ass. In your ass. We gotta-
I don't think I want to see asses in the studio, but okay.
Oh man.
But yeah, no, I hope we can like meet up, in person one of these
know.
days and hang out. But
I'm
I
so
think
surprised we've never met because I feel like we have a lot
of common friends. But like,
Yeah, I'm surprised we've never met.
I know, right? But like, things are getting better. So, sooner
Yeah.
than later, I'm sure we'll all be able to get together.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Stuck at home, yeah.
Yeah.
All of us.
All of us.
We will all have a great Friday months from now.
We will. But yeah, take care.
Take care.
Enjoy
Thanks
your
again.
weekend.
Bye.
See you, Wiji.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Bye.